A new study from Cambridge University finds children who learn to play well with others at a young age tend to enjoy better mental health as they get older.
And this really is like the first evidence, if you will, that peer playability can positively impact mental health. So joining us right now is children and family psychologist, Dr. Cheryl Ziegler. Let's start with, what is peer playability? What does that mean in the clinical sense?
Yes, in the clinical sense, that means a child's ability to successfully play with other children. Plain and simple.
That's it. Like
plain and simple.
And from your perspective, watching them, is that like, okay, they're sitting there sharing toys?
Yes, sharing, cooperative play, taking turns, not fighting, learning how to use please and thank you and express their feelings. So playability means just, it's, depending on the age, that they are doing what they're supposed to be doing within that developmental stage. And although we have known this for a while, it's great to get this research. And this is even somewhat longitudinal. So they followed the 3-year-olds that they studied and then followed up with them at 7. And now's where they really saw that regardless of their family situation, their socioeconomic levels, that kids who had better playability, those better social skills in play with other kids, at 3, maintained that at 7. And they even looked at certain areas, which are important areas: hyperactivity, impulse control, less fighting and arguing with others. And so it's really important. And when I was thinking about it, it's like there's this another theory that's sort of this broken windows theory, that when there's big problems, we look to solve the big problems, like right now our mental health epidemic. But this is something that proves to, okay, let's go back to toddlers. If we can raise our toddlers to learn to play with other kids, that simple thing, it sounds so simple, really could make a difference in the long run, a really significant one.
I'm asking for myself here and other moms who are going through this, because I have a 2-year-old at home and she's not in school yet. And so I've got like all this pressure on myself to say, is it now? When do I need to put her in school, around kids constantly? Like, when should this be happening?
So glad you asked that, because the research specifically went to that and said that this was about the quality of the play and not the quantity. So even if she were with somebody once a week, once every other week, as long as the interchange and the exchange goes well, that's what matters more than, oh, I'm doing this 3 or 4 days a week.
That makes so much sense.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
I mean, and then also, I'm curious if that doesn't, relationships are formed, even at a very young age.
Yes.
And does that not impact your mental health? Like, you realize that person is your friend, or that person loves you, or that person, you know what I mean? Like, there's always, like, when you watch little kids, I love to watch little kids, because there's always one that's like a leader that says, let's do this. And then everybody else is excited too.
Yes. So play, this is a saying in our world. Play is a child's language, and the toys are their words.
Oh.
And so play is their language, and it's so hard for adults to understand what play means, but play isn't just play. It's the way that they're learning about the world and themselves. And so it really means a lot to make sure that our kids are playing, that they're not in front of a screen, that they have that balance time with other kids, and even with adults, even learning how to play with an adult. So it's really important. And one of the things that does help, and I think was a part of the study, was, play groups that are supervised, putting a bunch of 2- and 3-year-olds, in a playroom, and then thinking, okay, they're going to figure this out. I'm doing what I'm supposed to. Not exactly what we're talking about, not at those young ages. So some facilitated play, not structured, but just that somebody's there. So when somebody, which will inevitably happen, hits or takes something or does something, they're there to teach them. Yeah, they're there to teach them and give them the opportunity to redo that and correct it and keep going. So it's really exciting to get the data.
It's exciting to hear this data as well. I know so many moms in this predicament at this age, there's so much pressure, and you want to make the right decisions. And so this is great. Thank you.
Yeah, better than telling them, oh, by the way, you need to know your ABCs by your 3. And
I know, you hear that pressure, like, oh my gosh, I'm doing everything wrong.
Learn to play. Learn to play over your ABCs. Yes.
Yay!
Yes, what I wanted to hear on this Monday afternoon.
That's exactly what we need to hear.